The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 30th day of October, 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamel Hartman. She's Mia Shanbray, and Maya Palazzo will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break, brought to you by People's. Mia, happy Thursday.
Halloween. Happy Thursday, Halloween Eve.
Yep, you got candy.
Not yet.
Candy?
I haven't got candy yet. I know. I need to go remortgage my house first, and then I'll take a house that I don't have. So I don't know. Maybe I'll ask my landlord if I can't pay rent this month so I can buy candy.
You're such an adult. I tell you, you're such an adult. I mean, folks.
No, I definitely will be. Pardon?
I said, I'm telling the audience, like, you've literally got your priorities in order. Like, who does that? Who does that, Mia? Like, who has the priorities in order like that? Come on.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Working really, I share my secret all the time on this show that when it comes to Halloween, I prefer to get my candy the day after.
Right.
Yeah, it's discounts.
On sale.
Yeah, so for me. If I was doing the Halloween thing, it works in Bermudians' favor this Friday, right? Because the storm. So it actually works if you kind of went Saturday morning, got the candy on sale, and then said it's officially Halloween today. And now it's bargain,
I'm with you. A frugal lady and a frugal man. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
You think you think Connor's going to go for it then?
I hope he does.
So I gotta ask you real quickly before we get in. What is your son Gunnar? What is he gonna be for Halloween?
So Gunnar, for those of you who don't know, I have a little boy. He's 6. He's turning 7 next week. And he usually sets that we're really into Halloween. Our family, like, I got engaged on Halloween. Like, we love Halloween. Anyway, so he usually sets the tone for the theme for our family dress up, whatever that is. So. But a lot of it is inappropriate, and I don't know how he sees it, honestly, or like where he's seen it. We call it the University of YouTube. But we are going to be Squid Games. So he's going to be player 456. James is going to be the guy with the mask, and I'm going to be the doll, that's in one of the games. I don't even know what it is. I kind of have to look it up. I actually didn't know.
Audience, if you don't know, they do it up. So you want to pay attention to what's going on when they send the pictures and all. We'll make sure you all see them. All right, folks. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome the medical director of PALS, Dr. Sharon Alikhani. Yes, I think I got it right. Alikhani. We're going to be discussing some of the work that PALS are doing to help loved ones support their family and friends through advanced cancer care. The Daily Play is going to be name that place today, Mia. Name that place. We did music yesterday. You missed that one because I know you love the music ones.
I do.
You know what the question was? We asked what decade was Michael Jackson born in? That was the question. And so
right. Okay.
Everyone pretty much got it right. Folks, if you haven't already, make sure you get on thedailyhour.com and you do our survey. Your participation is greatly appreciated. But don't forget also to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, let's jump into today's discussion. Well, before we do that, Kenton Trot says, good morning to the H family, sending love to all my Jamaican brothers and sisters. Indeed, indeed. Super awesome Thursday, Jamal and Mia. Great to see you, Mia, again. We've got, I think we're going to have a windy night. Indeed, indeed. And yes, just sending love to the Jamaican people and their families. Some things have really made me sick as it relates to that, and I'll touch on that a bit later. But I just want to say this at the top. It's not our discussion, but there are people who love to visit island destinations or tourist destinations or fancy hotels. Mm-hmm. I know it may be deceiving, but these folks are not your servants.
Right?
Like the way we yeah, I'll get into that later. But anyway, let's jump into today's debate by our friends at Express and Secure. So question of the morning, basically, what can we do to prepare Bermudians for job loss? And have you ever been let go from a job? Now, why is this question so important today? It's important for a number of reasons. Honestly, folks, I know a lot of people don't like to watch the news anymore. They just can't take it. But there's a lot happening that's not just like been in the news, it's been in our face. Right. So what's happening? Let's use the U.S. In 2025, the U.S. has already seen over 806,000 layoffs, making it one of the worst years for job cuts since the COVID pandemic. Key sectors that have been hit: technology, retail, manufacturing, and government/federal roles, with that Doge thing that what's his name? Elon Musk was a part of. Now, in August 2025, job growth slowed dramatically. Only about 22,000 jobs were added in 1 month, signaling a weakening labor market. So you might be asking, so what, Jamal? Why does this matter for Bermudians, right? Why should Bermuda care? Well, many Bermudians are employed by or connected to a U.S.-based company, fintech, finance, outsourcing companies, remote work. U.S. job cuts may reduce remote job opportunities for Bermudians. Also, a slowdown in U.S. economic activity can impact Bermuda's economy, whether it's tourism, which we're already struggling at, business travel, transatlantic spending, which affects Bermuda's tourism and service sectors, right? U.S. layoffs may lead to reduced diaspora remittance, right? Or less spending by U.S. visitors to Bermuda, thus reducing demand for local goods and services. Also, job losses could lead to more people seeking opportunities that Bermudians want, right? That's another key thing. So what can Bermuda do to prepare and adapt? There's a number of things we can do, but that's where you all come in. I know that one of the concerns in Bermuda some years ago was that with the reinsurance and IB sector, mergers and acquisitions would be pretty much the death of many jobs in Bermuda, right? And they still happen. They still happen. I know of people all the time who are being let go or shown the door, not because they're bad employees, but because, well, the company can get the job done without you. And so I've said it some years ago on this show that every day we go to work, we should be prepared to be let go. That's a harsh reality. But every day that we go to work, I'm not saying we should be negative and think about it, but we should be prepared to not have that job. Because the way that, unfortunately, the system that we're in, unfortunately, the way it works, it's a high possibility that that will happen. I know there's people who say, well, if you work in government, you don't get let go, or that's the protection, or so on. But how many jobs does government really have, or is going to have going forward, which is going to keep people employed? So again, question from one of the audience: what can we do to prepare Bermudians for job loss? And have you ever been let go from a job? Absolutely. Absolutely, I have, Mia.
Yeah, you have. You have.
Oh yeah, they don't like to say it like that, but heck yeah.
Oh, you have?
That's why Bermuda tourism's in the craps. That's why it's in the buckets, because I ain't there. I mean, that may sound really arrogant and harsh, but I mean, their numbers are their numbers.
Have you ever been broken up with?
No, that's a good question.
I feel like it's a similar thing, right?
Maybe I don't think. Mia's putting the question nicely. Have I ever been dumped? No, I don't think I have.
Okay, yeah, all right. Okay, but you have been let go from a job, or you parted ways. I don't think. I think that like I didn't like a job, and they kind of also weren't really feeling my vibe, so we kind of just agreed to I kind of quit before I could be fired. I think I've definitely experienced that. And have I ever been broken up with? No, because I'm always like, bye. I think I have a track record with jobs and boyfriends. Yeah, so I'm always the first to be, in the words of Prince, walking in through the outdoor. See you later. So I've never been fired. I don't think. If somebody's listening that's hired me in the past and you fired me, please, I stand corrected.
But I mean, even if you haven't, I mean, it's right now. It's not even looking like a safe thing to walk away from a job, right? It just doesn't seem like it's a good market to walk away from a job. I think the challenge in Bermuda, and I spoke about it yesterday because I mentioned that I put up a post about a majority of recent university graduates haven't been able to find employment, and I think it's a sign of things to come. And if you look at Amazon, it's been reported that 75% of their workforce they're going to replace with AI, right? And
right, okay.
Thing about UPS, I remember a couple of years ago, UPS gave their drivers a huge raise, up to $170,000 annually with wages and benefits, and that was not long ago. I believe that was probably 2003.
Right.
Not 2003, 2023. I think it was around that. And people were jumping up and excited and happy, right? And within a few years, now we're seeing all these job losses. So I would love to know how Bermudians are approaching this. How are we approaching this to make sure that we're protecting ourselves, right? That makes sense?
It does make sense, and as you rightly said, Jamal, that a university degree isn't a blanket protection forever. That's I think that was a kind of an old wives' tale, that if you went to university, you did this, unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something, where you obviously need those skills of going to higher education. I think it's not always a blanket, protection against job loss, etc. But I also think, Jamel, sometimes job loss, for better or for worse, lots of times people don't really like their job, and it maybe opens a doorway for them to go into more of an entrepreneurial space and actually create success for themselves. So I think that actually, there's always silver linings, in my opinion. So maybe you don't really love your job and you are let go, but you do obviously have financial, as we all do, financial obligations, but you've had a candle business on the side. This might be an opportunity for you to lean more into that and go to a place like the BEDC. So we're looking for solutions. So obviously we have Jamila on very often, and go and see what type of support that they may be able to give in regards to starting your own business and really profiting and working within that environment, which may be more suitable for you. So I think there's actually a lot of facilities here for people who are entrepreneurs or people who maybe want to change their vocation. If you are indeed let go from a job, I think there are lots of avenues of support here. And like I said, we have Jamila on very often in the BEDC. I think that's a really great resource that we have in Bermuda.
I absolutely agree. And I think that's one of the things that happened with me. I remember when my position was redundant, or I was fired, let go from Bermuda Tourism. One of the things I said to myself at the time is I'll never be in this position again. And that's when you start to build and build. And I think I might have tweeted it or exited or posted it, whatever you say nowadays, recently, that, if you go to a job every day, make sure that you're gaining the skills right? Go out and be able to do that same job for yourself should that position not exist anymore. And I know not all positions are created equal. Like, you know, if you're a teller at a bank, right? Well, are you going to go out and be a teller for yourself? No. Be a teller, you have absolutely great customer service skills. Offer your skills as a personal assistant to somebody or an executive, a virtual assistant, something like that. I want us to be creative because Mia's point, folks, is that, and I know some people are like, well, not everyone's going to be an entrepreneur. It's not necessarily everyone being an entrepreneur, but it's everyone being able to find ways to support themselves using the skills and the ability that they have. And that's what I hope comes from these conversations when we're discussing how can we prepare Bermudians for job loss is how can we transition our skills? Like how can we take our skills from one area? If you've only worked in, let's say, the reinsurance space, right? What are you learning in that space, in that position, in that job that you can take into another space? That's where we need to be. That's how we need to be thinking. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh my gosh. And I think, Jamal, you know, we're in our 40s now, and I think about all of the jobs that I've done and all of my life experience and how it's leading me down the path of where I am in my career at the moment. Everything is a building block. Every single thing you do in your life, even if you don't realize that it is actually building towards your future, it's experience, right? It's an incredible pathway, and you can lean into all of the skills that you've learned along the way, or natural talents that you may have. You know, for example. But I think Jamal speaks to a larger conversation as well. Like, yes, Bermudian job loss, but then how can we as a community make sure that we're ensuring jobs? So what can we actually do? So retail, for example, that's obviously in my wheelhouse. I'm going to speak to that. But retail is the second biggest employer in Bermuda. So if we, for example, as a community, shop more locally, and then there's more retail jobs available. So if you find yourself in a position that you don't really love it, you don't really like it, but maybe you really think you'd be great at customer service, retail in itself is actually flourishing, and then there's positions available in retail. So I think it's just like, it's kind of a chess game. You really have to think about it in a myriad of different ways.
No, I appreciate that, Mia. Thank you for that. And audience, let's go to the audience. What can we do to prepare Bermudians for job loss? We've got Michelle White says, no job is guaranteed. How many businesses are supported by government contracts too? Just like businesses have to diversify income resources, we should try to also. I always upskill, and yes, I've been fired. She said, fired in my youth, but even then bounced back, contacted my network. Transferable skills was something that was huge a couple of years ago. Transferring your skills. I think that I'll use a bartender, for instance, right? Obviously, bartenders were not able to work during the pandemic when things were closed. But what skills do bartenders possess? I mean, outside of having great customer service skills to deal with all you drunk people out there, but they have some great skills. I mean, one, they have to know how to make a cocktail. They can create their own recipe book. There's another thing. They maybe understand more about the products, and they can go and be a sales representative for one of the alcohol brands in a store or something like that. Those are transferable skills. Some of the jobs that are being lost, you know, a lot in tech. You know, I told a friend recently, I'm like, you're an IT guy. You do IT for your day job. Any person who understands IT and knows IT in and out has an opportunity to have their own business. You know why? Because pretty much everyone has some sort of computer device.
Yes.
So I think, you know, believing in ourselves enough, Mia, believing in ourselves enough to actually believing in ourselves enough to know that we have the skills and ability to support ourselves. But I think it also, there's a fear, Mia. Like, I think we fear a couple things. A lot of us don't believe it can be us, meaning we don't believe we can be let go. But also there's fear that, well, if I leave this place of comfort where I got a paid vacation, sick leave, or good pay, if I leave this, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Think about your situation. Okay.
Yes.
For the last 20 years, we've been told retail's dead.
Yes.
Here comes Mia. Well,
I'm opening a retail space and I'm going to put my all into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With media. Oh, media's dead and it's only Bermuda Broadcast and they're struggling and this and that. People would have you believe both of us are crazy for doing what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's that fear that, well, I can't go do this on my own. I don't have the capacity. I don't have the ability, the backing, the support.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you what, Mia, honestly, I know people are not as engaging on this topic this morning.
No.
I'm not saying this to scare people, but you all better be prepared, man.
Mm-hmm.
Be prepared. What's that old saying? When America sneezes, Bermuda catches a cold or something like that?
Oh, I've never heard that.
You ain't never heard that?
No.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that.
Audience, is Mia alone? Never heard when America sneezes, Bermuda catches a cold? Michael says, I believe that people should determine what their natural talent is, as it could be used in a number of areas. Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. But also, here's the other part. This is the scariest thing of everything. The side hustle is disappearing. So remember, you have people who are working full-time jobs, right? And I'm going to use the US context. Working full-time job. And then they would drive the Uber or do something after. Well, Uber's replacing drivers with the driverless cars. You see? So in a Bermuda context, we have to open our eyes too. Stores are closing earlier. People used to work their full-time job, then go and work an evening job. Now, there are opportunities if you have talent where Mia is able to sing and entertain and do, use her talent to make additional income outside of her full-time job. There are those opportunities for some if you have the talent and ability. But even the side hustles are disappearing. And Bermudians, my mother, my family was able to educate their family, build their houses, and so on because of the side hustle. The side hustle is something that we're underestimating its impact in our economy.
Oh my gosh, such a great point, Jamal. I mean, I wouldn't be able to survive in Bermuda if it wasn't for my side hustle. In regards to like things that I want to do, and it for, like you said, education, etc. So choices that we're making as a family of where we want to invest our money, right? So I also think the side hustle is underestimated, like you said, and there are lots of opportunities for side hustles here, like Arbor Nights, for example, or Christmas is coming up. There's tons of vendor markets. Get involved in all these. There are actually so many opportunities, and I understand that there's a sprinkling of fear, and people have responsibilities, and people have children, and I absolutely understand all of those things. But I do also believe, as Michael said, determine what your natural talent is or something that you're interested in. Put some time and an investment in it. Again, there are facilities here that can help you with the investment piece and also with, advice as well and leading you down a really strong pathway. And I think there is lots of opportunity to grab hold of different monetary.
We've got to bring Maya in for Daily Hour News Break. But folks, this is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Let's pay some respects to them, and then we'll bring Maya Palacio in for Daily Hour News Break. Don't forget, we've got pals in the house today. We're going to be talking about supporting loved ones through advanced cancer care. All right? Don't go anywhere.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black History tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
Alrighty, real quickly before we bring Maya in, Sean Smith says, find an affiliate program that aligns with what you love to do. Absolutely. That's a great suggestion. Kathy Dowell here with Ming says, I have 50 plus years of customer service and everything I've done, I use it as an opportunity to develop me. Absolutely. There you go. And Suzanne is shocked at me that she didn't know US sneezes, Bermuda catches a cold. Very old saying. Yeah. It's all good. Let's bring Maya Palacio in for your Daily Hour News Break, folks.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, Maya. Tell me something. Do you follow Canadian news at all, like Canada?
Yeah.
What do they have like this? Because let me just share, because I didn't even share this with you guys this morning. Let me just share this with you, just give you some context, because my biggest fear is that we wait till things happen and then we talk about it. UPS 48,000 jobs, Amazon 30,000 jobs, Intel 24,000, Nestle 16,000, Accenture 11,000, Ford General Motors Company 11,000, Microsoft 7,000, PwC company has an office in Bermuda 5,600, Salesforce 4,000, Paramount 2,000, Target 1,800 so far, Kroger 1,000. That's just a few of the companies. They haven't anything similar like that up in Canada, or is Canada the place to go to work?
I guess it's fair to say it's almost similar, though I'd have to read a little bit more into it. But there was a story I know, again, about Amazon, how it's cutting, and obviously that'll affect Canada as well, as corporates, try to lean more toward technology, AI, things of that nature. Other than that, I also saw a report that said that Canadian federal governments will be cutting, and it did say that it was going to disproportionately affect women and minorities. So that's something too that I need to read more into. But that was a cover image that I saw, and I was like, okay, let me go back to that headline. So there are things that are definitely happening that kind of agree to that statement that you just said.
Yeah, it's a lot happening, and I think this is why I'm careful and cautious when we celebrate people getting raises. The UPS thing was not long ago where people were absolutely shocked that these drivers were going to be making a lot more money, and I'm like, yep, that's the calm before the storm. Because if it's one thing we learn in this capitalist system, is that bottom line is really all that these corporations care about. It's unfortunate, but we've got to be prepared, man. I don't think our eyes are open. I don't think we're quite paying attention. And with more and more young people getting these fancy degrees and these formal we got to admit at some point, college is a business. And the it is. You're literally in the United States of America. Again, I don't know what it's like in the UK or Canada, but in these United States of America, you literally put yourself in debt for a degree that probably isn't even going to pay your thing off. I meet 40-year-olds all the time in the US that are still paying their college loans.
That's
like 40-something years old, you're still paying that. So when I ask, is a degree still worth it? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying the education is meaningless. I'm just saying, man, especially as Mia mentioned earlier, YouTube University, man, look, some interesting times. We've got decisions to make, not just for ourselves, but generations to come. And I'd like to see Bermudians tackle these things before they start hitting home, because as said earlier, the biggest impact for Bermudian, the war years ago, was mergers and acquisitions. There are opportunities. You want to be a nurse or a doctor, there's a competitive spaces. But I'm gonna tell you what, I agree with some young person on Twitter yesterday, X or whatever you want to call it. You don't want me as a damn nurse or doctor. So don't try to force children into spaces that they have no interest in. You feel me?
I 1,000% agree.
So it's a sticky time. We got a guest coming up. I don't want to get too much in Maya's.
Yes.
I'm sorry, audience, but this conversation will go on.
One thing I will say to close that out, though, is that as much as you shouldn't be in a field that you have no passion, no drive, or no empathy or anything for, on the flip side, I also think a lot of things that are hurting us when it comes to either jobs or finding work is also our pride a lot. And sometimes you got to do the jobs that you probably don't want to just to get to that next step when you're in a bind, when you're in a pit, and you never know what can come from it because so many things happen a day that we don't expect. So take things as they come and then work through it as you go. All right. So good morning, everyone. This is your Daily Hour News Break brought to you by the good people at People's Pharmacy. From prescriptions to daily essentials, People's Pharmacy is where wellness begins and communities grow together. And we know we have a hurricane coming up. So please get there, get all your essentials that you need, from medical care to flashlights in the house, anything that you think is going to be vital for your family. Now we're going to kick off this news break with just an update of a news story that I brought to you guys on Tuesday. Just a quick reminder here on the screen, you'll see the GoFundMe page for Bermuda's first Olympic medalist, Clarence Hill. And I reported to you how his son is asking for help as they want to transition him back to the UK after claiming and saying that they had lost their housing, his corporate housing, after being in the hospital. Well, there was a statement that was put out by the Ministry of Housing and Municipalities, and they say that they are aware of recent public comments made by Mr. Clarence Hill and wishes to clarify the circumstances as much as possible while respecting his privacy. The main concern on Tuesday was the fact that can someone's house actually be taken away when they're in the hospital? So here is the statement from them, and it basically says, Mr. Hill previously resided in a Bermuda Housing Corporation managed apartment. In 2014, following medical advice that his apartment was no longer suitable for his health needs, Mr. Hill voluntarily signed a formal agreement ending his tenancy prior to a period of hospitalization. Over the following months, BHC staff and social workers worked closely with Mr. Hill to secure his belongings and support his transition, making several visits to the property with him to complete this process. And then they close out by saying that the ministry and the Bermuda Housing Corporation remain committed to working collaboratively with the relevant agencies to ensure that appropriate support is in place for Mr. Hill's well-being. However, in keeping with client confidentiality, no further details can be shared regarding this personal matter.
It's sad to see, and I'll keep it short, but I'll say this much: it's when you see situations like that, all you want is a resolution, not the judgment, not the blame, finger pointing. And my hope is that we can get a resolution where Mr. Hill can enjoy his days, and just ensure that this doesn't happen to anyone else.
I agree. Moving on to other news, I brought this story about how we're going to get ferries coming to Bermuda probably at the start of last year. It was definitely last year at some point, but they're here and they've arrived. So Bermuda's two new Lloyd classification 500 passenger fast ferries have arrived. These two new ferries will replace the current high-speed ferries that are powered by jet propulsions, which are extremely costly to operate and maintain. So the two new ferries are expected to reduce CO2 emissions by about 25%. That's pretty big when compared to the existing ferries that we have on a passenger mile basis, and offering significant savings on operational costs. So the Honorable Owen Darrell, Minister of Tourism, Transport, Culture, and Sport, hailed the upcoming arrival as a proud moment for Bermuda. And he emphasized the benefits the new ferries will bring, saying the addition of these two ferries will increase passenger lift between Dockyard and Hamilton, as well as Dockyard and St. George's, so giving the town of St. George's a more welcomed boost in visitor foot traffic. And we're hoping to see that for the town as well. So the new catamaran ferries, each with a capacity of 550 passengers, feature modern design elements to enhance comfort, accessibility, and efficiency. They do include designated wheelchair spaces and are Wi-Fi friendly and are equipped with SureLink digital fare and media access points for seamless passenger service.
Gotta have the Wi-Fi, you know.
In this generation.
Yeah. I don't know what none of that stuff means that Maya said about the CO2 and all that stuff, but I'm just gonna say it sounds good, and we're gonna go with it, folks.
It's definitely better for the waters. That's the big takeaway that we can get from it. Having these fleets hopefully means even maybe a change in schedule to like leaving Dockyard, coming back from Dockyard, even going to St. George's more. So that's something I'm probably looking forward to with like the increased bustling of it. So yeah.
Okay.
Same.
Now, let's look into Hurricane Melissa right now. So before we get into the latest announcements for Bermuda, here's what's coming out of Jamaica. And I found this news report from Fox News, and it had citizens and residents of Jamaica kind of explaining how they feel, you know, once the aftermath of Melissa. So let's take a look.
Earth lose everything.
Tell me what happened here last night.
The breeze, we have this heavy rain and the heavy wind, and it just blow, damage everything. Just turn back and make two spin and lift up everything, so I lose everything.
What will you do now?
I don't know where to start from. I just need some help to put back myself.
Are you okay?
No.
Right around the back right there, a lot of water, a whole heap of water. The drainage system, there's no proper drainage system in and around this area to take away the water when we have a heavy shower of rain or anything like that. And so because of that, the amount of volume of water that is poured on the land, the earth becomes saturated, and all of the things with the category 5 storm does destroy every single thing. Within this area, there's a lot of infrastructure damage. Houses are lost, people are without homes, light poles are down. And so at this time, we are pleading to the regular authorities to see if they can grant any level of assistance to the people of this community of Top Bay, Discovery Bay, because at this present moment, a lot of persons, a lot of families are displaced, a lot of individuals have lost total of every single thing. So we are pleading to the regular authorities, to the member of parliament, if necessary be, come and have a look. We're not saying that everything can be fixed in a minute or in a moment, but the people need some level of assistance in and around this area.
Yeah, so that was coming from St. Anne Parish as well.
I didn't see anything. I don't know what's going on my end. It was just blank, but I did look to the side and saw it was on. But what was the premise? What was the...
The premise was 2 residents again to speak about the aftermath of the effects. Someone had, the house is completely gone, completely destroyed, and they're just pleading for help. So particularly the second resident is asking for help with the government to just come take a look and see like what's happening around the area and offer some sort of support if they can, especially for those areas that got massively flooded, heavy rain on, because there isn't like sufficient drainage to even like prevent those heavy rains from making a lot of damage. So that was like a big call to action for the government to like give some assistance.
Gotcha.
Sorry for those who didn't see the video there, but now we're going to go right into what's happening right on Bermuda, because yes, we should be expecting it. It is a threat right now to the island. Wind should be picking up later this afternoon, actually, according to the EMO Emergency Services that had their meeting yesterday, and showers and rain should also be expected. And the minister came forward to let us know some of the updates about closures that will be happening in preparation for Melissa. Number one being, and I'm sure everyone will want to know this one, is that the public schools will be closing on Friday. But here's just a little bit more coming from the minister himself.
Out of an abundance of caution, the following measures will be implemented. Causeway. The causeway will close at 10 p.m. on Thursday, October 30th. At first light on Friday morning, it will be assessed, and an announcement of its reopening will be shared with the public. South Shore Road at Watch Hill Park. This section will close at 9 p.m. on Thursday, October 30th. Public schools. All public schools will be closed on Friday, October 31st. Government offices. Offices will operate as usual on Thursday, October 30th. However, to allow for building assessments and safety protocols, all government offices will be closed until 1 p.m. on Friday, October 31st.
Well, they made these decisions very early. Good to see. And I just want to go back real quickly to Jamaica and remind people, as I said earlier, these are human beings. These are real people with families and lives. And when I think about rebuilding after a hurricane, it disgusts me when I'm gonna be real with you. When I see people from in these countries and in these spaces who are there for working at hotels, we'll be bouncing back. No, bouncing back doesn't start with hotels and pretty beaches. It starts with rebuilding a community. It starts with the broken schools and the recreation centers and the homes of the people who actually service these hotels. So I just want people to humanize the individuals and stop looking at the capitalistic money grab situations. Oh, we'll get back to making this money. No. We've got to look after people who look after your place. So
yeah,
to say that.
Indeed, because I mean, if something this massive happens in Bermuda, let's put some empathy. I think we've lost the fine art of putting yourself in someone else's shoes a lot. Mm-hmm. And that one there was so many more reports of police officers and firemen even saying like they're trying to help people that are off the rooftops right now, stranded in the water. Houses are collapsed, people are displaced. There's a lot going on underneath the surface that, sometimes if you're not looking for it, you don't see it. So you start to like lose your empathy. Please, in this day and age, I know things are always pounded in your face to first see, but look for the things that matter, So take that initiative. You can't just always go with what's thrown in your face.
How are we looking temperature-wise?
Thickening clouds with a few blustery showers moving in, as we stated earlier, and you got a high of 81 degrees today.
Alrighty, Mia, you got any days of the year for us?
Yes, it is International Candy Corn Day. Now, candy corn can be quite divisive. It's kind of like licorice. Do you like it? Do you not? I want to know from you, Jamel and Maya, and also the audience. Are you a candy corn lover? Yes or no?
I don't understand the divisiveness. Ain't nobody like candy corn?
I don't know. I have this weird sometimes I hate it, like, and like the smell of it just makes me want to vomit. But then the other times I'm like, I'm craving it and I want to eat it. It's weird. It's weird.
I love candy corn. I absolutely love candy corn. I love candy corn season. How about you, audience? Tell us. Candy corn, yes or no? I love it. Even little candy corn pumpkins. You know? They're so good.
When it's on like a little muffin or a cupcake or something. It's a cute
so
decorating
cute.
piece.
I'm confused. Thank you, Miss Almeida, because I'm like, wow, we got people that like this. Thank you, Anika. Okay, wow. I'm absolutely shocked.
Sometimes it's just a staple. Like, it's just, you think candy corn, you think Halloween. It's so seasonal that you have to have it even if you don't want it. Like, you're going to like pick it up and put it in the house.
Eggnog, it's candy corn. It's wax.
I'm just saying.
Wax. You just have to have it. Candy corn is the best.
It's a conversation starter, that's for sure, in the house if you have it.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let's find out if our guest let's see if Dr. Sharon, let's see if she likes candy corn, because something tells me she's on my side in this. I'm quite shocked because Maya doesn't like cake, but she likes candy corn.
Yeah, I said it's like it depends on the day. It really does.
Damn, she says it depends on the day. I'm sorry, I'm just talking to my mug, because my mug's the only person in this conversation that I am aligning with right now.
You're talking to your mug?
Yeah, like
you got a whole audience in the crowd and you're talking to your mug.
After the candy corn thing, I'm not sure I trust them anymore. I mean, wow.
I have to say, everybody who loves candy corn in our audience, you're my people. You're my tribe. Yes.
Ma, you have a great day. We're gonna have a further talk about this candy corn thing.
Bye, guys.
Don't go anywhere. We've got Dr. Sharon Alikhani coming up from PALS. Really good conversation. I'm still stuck on this candy corn. Don't go anywhere. Candy corn? My goodness.
Yum, 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 yum.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
At HSBC, how we do business in our community is as important to us as what we do for our community.
We are here at Hungary Bay with HSBC today. We're planted over 500 mangroves using 2 different methods. This work is very vital for our mangrove ecosystem and it would not be possible without HSBC's generous support.
I am super happy that we have a team here of colleagues helping us replant some of the mangroves. Mangroves are critical for preserving coastal nature, and with recent hurricanes, they have been taken away by waves. By replanting them, we are really helping nature be at its best.
Thank you so much for HSBC for sponsoring the Megaforest Project, but by extension, the Hungry Bay Restoration Project.
Thank you to all of the charities, corporate partners, and HSBC volunteers for your commitment to our community.
SCARS stands for Saving Children and Revealing Secrets, and we are a Bermuda nonprofit organization whose mission is to reduce the risk of child sexual abuse and to be an advocate and a voice for children who've been sexually molested, as well as their affected family. New media like the Daily Hour is really important in partnering with organizations like SCARS. It's another platform for us for awareness. There can be no radio silence as it relates to child sexual abuse, and we need as many initiatives as we can get. We need to keep this message alive. In terms of us and the work that we do, live engagement is good because it allows the audience to ask questions, to make comments, even to provide us with encouragement and support. What I love about the live engagement when SCARS is being interviewed by Jamel is just this feeling of safety, this feeling that he gets it. He cares about children. It's a connection.
Welcome back to the Big Show. Jamel Hartman here, Mia Chambray. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Linda's, People's Farms, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio areas with these most important community conversations. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as you do our part to continue to improve our community. If you have not, please, if you're streaming with us, give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram. But also, if you haven't filled out our survey, do us that favor. Help us help you as we, figure out how to make this more engaging and more flavorful than candy corn. All right. All right, folks. We're a bit behind time, but let's give a warm TDH welcome to our very special guest today. We have these conversations with our community partners, whether it's KBB SCARS or today's guest, PALS, the medical director of PALS, Dr. Sharon. Let me make sure I get it right. Dr. Sharon Alikhani. Yeah, Sharon Alikhani. I think I got it. Let's give her a warm TDH welcome, folks. Good morning. Happy Thursday.
Hello, Jamel. You pronounced that perfectly. Thank you.
See?
And I have to say, although I'm wearing orange, I hate candy corn.
No, Dr. Alikhani, how could you?
I don't know. It's like cough syrup. They make it a really nice color so that you want to like it, but you hate it.
Yes.
Oh man, it's so delicious. I love candy corn.
You know, I saw Colleen in the audience saying she loved it, and then I was like, "Uh-oh, this is not going to go well." And then you brought us back around. You brought us back down to earth. We appreciate you. But I must ask before we jump into it, what is your favorite candy around like Halloween? Do you have a favorite candy?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm a fan of chocolate things, so anything with chocolate's good.
Okay. Yeah, can't go wrong with a Cadbury any time of the year. But Doctor, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. Like I said, we have these conversations regularly. According to our survey, which is still live right now, every last person who has responded to that survey, except one who said they've never seen an episode of the Conversations with PALS SCARS, and just one person, which is probably the highest we've ever gotten. But everyone else said that they find these community conversations extremely helpful because they're learning, whether it's yourself, Colleen, or your other colleagues from PALS or SCARS or KBB. And these conversations are one of the reasons we love to wake up and do this show, because it's one of those situations is support them, appreciate them, and know who they are before you need them. So before we jump into the conversation with you today, can you just tell us a bit about your background and what it is that you do?
So, as you said, I'm Dr. Sharon Alikhani, and I'm the medical director of PALS. Colleen and my other colleagues will have perhaps told you a little bit more about PALS in their previous sessions, but we are the charity that supports people living with cancer in Bermuda. And I came into this in a very sort of backward way. I came to Bermuda as a GP, as a general practitioner, and I worked in general practice for a few years, and was introduced to the hospice, actually, to Agape House. And I don't know, I felt I had a bit of a calling. I loved seeing my patients in hospice and working in hospice. And so I trained further and trained in palliative care and moved away from general practice and worked at Agape House and King Edward's, providing palliative care to patients both in the hospice and in the hospital and in the community. I think my background of general practice really sort of it wanted me back in the community. And when PALS decided that they potentially were expanding and needed a medical director, Colleen approached me and asked me if I would be interested in coming to PALS, which I made that transition in 2018. And I've been solely in the community working with cancer patients since 2018. And I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah. Real quickly, audience, if you have any questions or comments for Dr. Alikhani, please send them through. We'll get through as many questions and comments as possible. Sorry, Mia, go ahead. Well, before that, let's talk about when someone is first diagnosed with advanced stage cancer. It can be very overwhelming for the patient and their loved ones. What's the most important thing families can do in those early days to offer support?
Yeah, really, really good question. I think we have to recognize and acknowledge that there's no right or wrong. You know, what you and your loved one is experiencing at that time is absolutely unique to you. And I think what a family member can do really often depends on the relationship that they have with a person diagnosed. For instance, if you are a spouse, you're going to have a different sort of role in that person's life to perhaps their siblings or their children or their parents. But the one thing that is really in common for everyone involved is fear. And I think, you know, fear of the unknown, fear of what's to come, fear of hospitals, investigations, you know, all of those things. And we all deal with this emotion very differently. I'm sure you know people who become very quiet and very withdrawn. And then there's the others who just go complete overdrive and they just want to do and make lists and are busy and they're talking and they're sharing. You know, these are opposite ends of the spectrum. Neither is better or worse. They're just different. And I think we have to be very cognizant of how we deal with that emotion and how our loved one deals with it, and just trying to come to a common ground where we can support each other and move forward. I think it's also really important to know that every person is unique, every cancer is different, and everyone's experience in this situation is going to be personal to them. Comparisons of either the cancer or the journey, I think, is not very helpful. You know, and we all do this in a very sort of, it comes from a place of love and wanting to encourage, but it isn't necessarily helpful. We talk about breast cancer or lung cancer as this blanket term, and it can be, there are many, many subtypes and different experiences. So comparison isn't, and I think it takes away from acknowledging the person and what they're going through. So as much as possible, you know, let's try not to compare. And, you know, for the person who's had the diagnosis and their loved ones and everybody else involved, you know, their world as they know it has just been shattered. It's been turned upside down. And there's this feeling of loss of control. And they need to be allowed to feel that in order to regain control somehow. So, you know, we all want to fix things, but sometimes it's okay to be in that moment of let's just acknowledge what's going on. let's recognize this, and then let's try and see what we can do.
Absolutely. I think that's such a great point, Dr. Alikhani. Good morning. How are you?
Hello.
Hi, good morning. I love everything that you just said. It's true. Everybody's journey is different and personal to them and their families. Absolutely. Now, many people hear the term palliative care, and they think it only applies to end of life. Can you explain what palliative care really is and why it's so valuable from day one of your cancer diagnosis?
Absolutely. So I've thought a lot about palliative care because it's this, it's this almost like fancy word we have for what I like to think of as good old-fashioned medicine. Medicine today is so super specialized. If you're an orthopedic surgeon, you may only just look at knees or ankles or shoulders. Everything is super specialized, and palliative care really is an approach which looks at the illness and the individual as a whole, and its sole sort of purpose and goal is to improve the quality of life for the person with the life-threatening illness or serious illness. It doesn't necessarily have to be life-threatening, but serious illness. And we do this by managing symptoms, providing physical, emotional, spiritual support. And I think the difference between palliative medicine and perhaps other specialties is that we look at the patient and their family as a unit. The patient is in the center and the family is intertwined on the outside. And we can't do our job wholly unless we look at both patient and family. But it is a specialty, and we do have specialist training for this, and we do treat symptoms incredibly aggressively. But oftentimes we know we can't cure things, but we are trying to make the person's experience and life a little bit better, and really just this aim of improving quality of life. And so it's really important to know that it complements and goes alongside other treatments, especially curative treatments. We're talking about cancer today. So if we're thinking about curative cancer care, which can be extremely toxic to somebody, very, very toxic, with lots of side effects and lots of challenges, this is a perfect place for palliative care to sit alongside oncology or radiation oncology, because we help to manage the symptoms of the cancer and the treatments, but we're not the oncologist. We are there as part of the team. So palliative care really starts, I would say, from the moment of diagnosis to the end, whatever that end might be. And I love to tell my patients, if you graduate PALS, we have done our job. This is like the best day for us when we say, you've done it. You don't need us anymore. We're here for you at all times. The door is open, but actually you don't need us, but we've been part of that journey with you.
I love that so much. You've graduated PALS. I love that so much. That's great.
And I think just to clarify end of life care, which is what everybody thinks palliative care is, end of life care is a specialist part of palliative care. So as palliative care physicians, we are extremely experienced in end of life care because unfortunately, not everyone graduates PALS. Right?
Yes.
And so we then focus on the last few weeks and days of that person's life and journey, and knowing that this is a very difficult time for everybody, and it's the people left behind who will have the memory of those last few days. And it's so important that we try and get that right. And for the majority of times we get that right. Sometimes it's more challenging than others. And sometimes the memories, are definitely challenging. But that is a special part of palliative care. It is not the whole of palliative care.
Okay, thanks so much for clarifying that, Dr. Alikhani. Really appreciate it. What kinds of emotional and practical challenges, like speaking of all of these, families and the patients, what kind of emotional and practical challenges do patients and their families face most often? And how can loved ones step in to help without feeling helpless?
Really good question. I was thinking about this last night when I was thinking about the questions, and I feel like people's experiences and journeys are a bit like when you have a child. For all those parents out there, I mean, I remember when I had my newborn and I brought him home, and I thought, how am I going to know what to do? How am I going to know? And how will I know? How will he learn to talk? Like, is he just going to do it? Like, how do I know? And do you know what? From the beginning, when it's extremely frightening, when it's really scary, to even say 6 weeks later, people fall into a pattern and new things emerge and you kind of learn. But remember that in that journey, you're going to revisit emotions, and you're going to have, challenges that might be the same as what they were in the first days, might be totally different. But the emotional, sort of really generalizing, I would say the emotional things that we see go on is, as I said before, fear, depression, anxiety, loss of identity. If you're the breadwinner of the family and you no longer go to work and your whole purpose in life for your family has now been taken away from you, that loss of identity is huge. Not just for the men of the family, although oftentimes it is that, but the women too. There's also body dysmorphia. So, if you have, say, treatment that makes you lose your hair, you don't look like you anymore. You feel you don't look like you. Or if you've had surgery, say a mastectomy, or if you've got a facial cancer where you've had to have surgery and it's disfiguring, all of these things are really, really debilitating. So how can we support people? Well, I think, just being cognizant of what that person might be feeling and what they might be going through is really important. If there's any way to help, let's say with young children, or not just young children, but children, trying to keep home as normal as possible is so important. The cancer tends to take over. The cancer becomes the person. That person is still that person who happens to have cancer. It's not the other way around. Try and maintain the relationship that you used to have with them before. If you used to go and watch football with them and watch whatever, or you used to go and watch cheesy movies, make sure you still do that. They want to do that. They don't want to do it alone. They want to feel normal. And I think the other thing is that people try to be super helpful, which is lovely, but they often forget to ask the person if it's the help they actually want. What do they need? What do they want right now? How can I help you? I think I know, but maybe I've got it wrong. Like, what do you need? Do you want a meal today? Do you want me to pick up the kids? Do you want me to stay away?
Yeah.
Really important.
Yeah, that's such good advice, Dr. Alikhani. I love everything that you just said for both the patients and families, of course. Now, PALS, as we discussed, has been a cornerstone of cancer care in Bermuda for decades.
40 years we're celebrating.
Amazing. 40 years, incredible. How does your team support not just patients, but also families and caregivers through this difficult journey?
So we are an ever-growing team at PALS, but I'm so privileged to work with such a bunch of experienced and compassionate, lovely people. So there's myself, I'm the medical director. We have 5 nurses and a nurse manager, so 6 nurses in total, and a medical social worker. And then obviously we have our team of volunteers who are invaluable. And we have our partners. So we have partnering agencies who provide caregiving support within the home. And again, the help that each family is going to need is going to be individual to them. So sometimes we get a patient referred to us with their family, and they don't really need to see me at all, but they really need the help of our social worker, Shamika. And so then Shamika will get involved, and she takes over the care that they require at that time. Similarly, they may simply need nursing help, or they may need more more aggressive symptom management, where perhaps I would get involved, or my new colleague, Dr. Benson. So we're very much a team, and we filter the needs of that individual or the family to the appropriate person. And what I love about our team is that I may ask Shamika to get involved, and then perhaps not see that individual for a while. And I'll hear weeks later what she's done and how she's still involved with them. And sometimes even, months or years, she'll say, do you remember so-and-so? I just spoke to them. And I love this connection with the families.
I love that too. And for those listening or tuning in today, who might want to help someone with cancer, but don't know what to say or do, what are some small, meaningful ways to show care and compassion?
Firstly, I think it's absolutely fine not to know what to say. People's hardship is really hard to sit with, and it's okay to acknowledge that and actually tell your friend or loved one, I don't really know what to say, but I'm with you. I'm here. I think, if you notice that they are really struggling, and they are perhaps isolating themselves from friends and family, it's really important to reach out and to say to them that there is help out there. Doesn't have to be you necessarily that they talk to, but that you're really concerned about them, and that please, can you help them get help? I kind of want to send this message that I think Colleen is trying to spread every time she talks to anyone on the radio, which is, you don't have to do this alone. Nothing is good alone, I think, in life. Everything is better shared, whether it's successes and joyful things or difficult things. And for me, if you have a team behind you, then it just helps to share the burden. So if you are worried about someone, please let them know you're worried about them and ask their permission to seek for help for them. And there, PALS is one of the cancer charities. There are other agencies that work with people with life-limiting illnesses and cancer, and reach out to any of us, because we're here to help. Without the patient and their families, we don't have a purpose, and we are here to help. We wish that our services were not necessary, that cancer wasn't so prevalent in our community, but it is now. And so don't shy away from it. There is absolutely no shame in the diagnosis. In the 60s and 70s, it was hushed. We couldn't talk about it. It was the C word. Let's talk about it. There is nothing to be ashamed of. And if you need help, please call us. Please come and ask us. We can advise you. You don't even have to accept our services, but we can advise you of how you can help.
Indeed. Let's go to the audience. Audience, if you have any questions or comments, please send them through. Manuela John's asking, do doctors inform PALS of new cancer patients, or is it left to patients and families?
The majority of times, our referrals do come from other doctors, especially at point of diagnosis. What typically happens, or what should happen, is that when you've been to your doctor and there is a suspicion that you've got cancer, or you've undergone investigations and a cancer diagnosis has been made, there is a team of doctors who meet every week, and we call this the tumor board. We discuss every new cancer diagnosis, and that team of doctors includes all the oncologists, the radiation oncologists, the radiologists, the pathologists, ourselves. So it's a big panel of people, and at that meeting, a documentation is made of what next steps are, and oftentimes it will it will include a referral to PALS. However, some patients do fall through the cracks and we don't get a referral from physicians. And so if you would like a referral to PALS for yourself or your family, give us a call and we'll let you know how to go about it.
Dr. Sharon, what message would you share with our community about living and loving through illness? And how can we all play a part in ensuring dignity and comfort for those in need?
Yeah. I think we don't know what we have till it's gone, right? So cherish the friendships and the relationships you have. For me, I'm quite selfish in this next one, which is live life as fully as your life allows you to. Don't take for granted what you have today. Tomorrow might be a very different day. So if you have things that you want to do, try and do them. But the biggest one, I think, is to respect your loved one and respect their decision, even if you don't agree with them or don't think that you would do the same. I mean, we will only ever walk in our own shoes. We can't actually walk in somebody else's shoes, but we can stand alongside them. We can maybe look at the landscape they're looking at and try to see what they're seeing and respect their decisions. And finally, if there is a time for letting go, let go with compassion, with love, and with respect. And know, again, that there are people out here who can help you if you're struggling with that.
Thank you so much for the conversation today. Always, it's difficult having these conversations, especially if you've, experienced some of the things that you've discussed. But I'm grateful that we're in a space where we can see the word beyond the letter, and we can have these conversations that can sometimes be uncomfortable and, unfortunately, get people in their feelings who are tuned in and make it a bit emotional. But sidestepping reality isn't going to make us more comfortable. And so thank you all for the partnership and ensuring that we can have conversations that may make us uncomfortable, but can help us in the long run. Something you said just now was, we haven't been through it. We don't know what a diagnosis is going to be for someone tomorrow. Everything seems fine today, and then tomorrow you find this out, and then next thing you know, you're looking at, going through this stuff that we're discussing. And so grateful to have people like yourself and your team who exist to ensure that people have support that they need in going through this. So thank you once again to you, Dr. Alikhani, and everyone at PALS. And just remind people how they can go to your website or learn more or reach out.
Oh, this is the bit that she hasn't taught me about. So I think it's www.pals.bm.
Yep.
Or if you want to send us an email, it's info@pals.bm. Or number is 236-7257, which spells out PALS, by the way. That's how I remember it, 236-7257. And we are on 18 Point Finger Road. We have the best thrift shop in Bermuda. So some of you might just know the thrift shop and not know what happens upstairs in the building up top. So you can reach us in any of those places. Please, please, please know that no question is a silly question. If you have a question, come to us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alikhani, and we wish you a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, you too. Be safe, everybody.
All right. Dr. Sharon Alikhani, folks, that was PALS. If you appreciated that conversation, please do us a favor, whether you're streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram, give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. I love these community conversations with our partners and looking forward to more, but don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. And after this break, we'll do the Daily Play, which is a name that plays, but also share our final thoughts on today's discussion and conversations. Don't go anywhere. Stick with us.
Considering the increasing challenges faced by financial institutions, the need for insurance protection is a critical component of the risk management framework. At Friesenbrook, our priority is to safeguard your assets with the most optimal, cost-effective risk management cover to help protect your business, whether it be cyber, directors and officer liability, professional indemnity, or property insurance. Call us on 296-3600 to learn more about our full suite of competitive corporate insurance products. At Friesenbrook, we provide insurance you can count on.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazog Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
PALS is a cancer care charity. We started 45 years ago. What started as a charity with a half-time nurse, and basically just assisting patients going home from the hospital, but patients dying at home. We now, 45 years later, have 6 nurses, a social worker, and a palliative care physician. I know a lot of people that watch the Daily Hour every day, so it's just educational. It helps you know more about specific charities or specific organizations, and kind of get the nitty-gritty as opposed to just seeing a flyer on social media or just hearing or seeing a commercial. I think it's more beneficial. Like if I'm on the radio or on TV, I'm just like telling you what I think you want to know. But you might have specific questions that I can answer directly. I think it's much better having the live engagement.
All right, welcome back, Mia Chambray. I'm Jamel Hartman. Thanks again to PALS and Dr. Sharon Alikhani for stopping by this morning for another important community conversation. Folks, big shout out and thanks to the BAC group of companies, Medicals, Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these important community conversations on a regular basis. Folks, if you haven't already, do us that favor. If you're streaming with us, give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, family, and colleagues. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda's Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, it's a Name That Place, Mia. Are you ready?
Never, but go ahead.
It's an easy one. It's an easy one.
Okay.
Mia, audience, what country is famous for Heineken beer?
Holland. Netherlands?
There we go. Yeah, when we were young, all we said was Holland, Holland, Holland. And then we learned, oh no, Holland's a part of the Netherlands.
I know it is. The Netherlands. Sorry. Yes.
She knew better, folks. But, didn't I tell you it was an easy one? Gee.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. I mean, that was an obvious. Germany? Suzanne, no, it's.
Yeah, you need to eat some candy corn.
St. Pauli is German. I mean, Germany does have a lot of beers, but no.
Yeah, they're a big beer place.
Heineken is Dutch. It's Dutch. It's definitely the Netherlands. Mia, let's wrap it up. Discussion this morning about job loss, and then obviously the conversation with Dr. Alikhani.
Well, actually, I think they kind of dovetailed together, Jamel. So we talked about job loss. We also talked about how to prepare yourself if you do indeed lose your job, or we talked about the side hustle, the art of the side hustle. And what I found so interesting this morning was Dr. Alikhani spoke about how she was a GP when she first came to Bermuda, but when she went to Agape House, she felt it was her calling to, in fact, work in more palliative care, and therefore went and did more courses, did more degrees in palliative care, and broadened her skill set. So both conversations actually really dovetail together in regards to broadening your skill set in order to serve yourself and your community. Love the work that PALS does. And I also think it's really important to, no matter what the case, build on your life experience if you do experience job loss, and you will be able to come out on top.
Indeed. I like how you put it together, but as far as the job loss, I just want people to go to work with humility. Like life any day could be your last for a number of reasons. And if you have that attitude, then you should also understand that you should constantly, using what Mia said, YouTube University, constantly be upgrading your skills to make sure that you are not just employable, but give yourself a chance to make a living, even if it is a hustle or through entrepreneurship. What I don't want to see in such a small place like Bermuda is people acting like they're caught off guard when you can see what's happening beyond Bermuda. So, folks, not fear-mongering, not trying to scare anyone, but let's be a bit more conscious and aware of how things that are happening beyond Bermuda could impact each of us. As far as the conversation with Dr. Alikhani, I'm grateful for PALS, having been familiar with them from personal situations. I'm grateful for them, and it's an organization that I hope none of us ever need, but I'm grateful that they exist for if we ever do. And so, folks, if you have an opportunity to volunteer or donate, I will tell you it's an organization that is worth getting behind. Mia, do you have any daily inspiration for us?
I do. When I was traveling the past few weeks, I actually watched the Mr. Rogers show with Tom Hanks, the movie, and I felt really inspired by him. So the quote of the day is by Mr. Rogers, and it is, "You are loved just as you are, not as you think you should be."
Thank you for that. I've never seen Mr. Rogers, but I heard he was a very nice guy.
Yeah.
One of the nicest neighbors you could want.
Watch the movie, Jamal. You'll be very impressed.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Mia. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. We'll be on the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Mia Chambray. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.